Welcome back to Burning River Bushcraft. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Tenkara rod kit from Wild Water Fly Fishing. So I've been showing several different options in this fly fishing series as far as traditional Western rods and Tenkara rods, but this one's different. This one's different in a couple ways. First off, just look at the size of it. Most of the Tenkara rods that I've been showing so far are designed for small waters and for backcountry fishing. So they're perfect for backpacking. You can slip that in your bushcraft bag. It would fit in a bug out bag for that matter. Takes up very little space. Great for fishing when you don't really plan on fishing. This is quite a bit larger than that. So this is a longer rod. But not only that, this is also a zoom rod. With a traditional Tenkara rod, when you telescope that out, it reaches a certain distance and that's it. That's what you fish. If you want a shorter rod, you can choke up on the rod a little bit. But if you hit a spot where you wish you had a little more reach and you wanted a longer rod, you better have a second rod with you, or you better get your feet wet because you're not going to be able to get out there with it. This rod is a zoom rod. So this is a 12-foot rod. And if I need a longer rod, I can expand it to a second point and fish it at 13 feet. Before we open up the rod, let's take a look at the case. This is a PVC tube with a nylon wrap on it. I've got a zipper on one end. And you can see the diameter and the length is still going to be a lot smaller than a traditional Western style fly rod case. So this is only 24 inches long. So this may not fit inside a backpack, but it's going to fit alongside a backpack really well. This would stack alongside my carry-on bag. It would not fit in there, but it's pretty streamlined and non-obtrusive, and I could walk this through most airports without any problem. So enough about the case here. Let's take a look at the rod. So it does come in a rod sock as well, and no zipper here. I have a little elastic area to pull through. So here's the specs on this rod. This is an IM8 graphite, and I have 9 sections. And this is a zoom rod, so I can fish this at 12 or I can fish this at 13. And the action on this is a 6.4. Now that has to do with the amount of thicker sections as opposed to the more flexible sections. So that's telling me that this rod's got quite a bit of backbone to it. Now when I go down and look at this cork handle, this is 11.25 inches. So I could two-hand this if I get into a big fish, but I've got a lot of hand placement options in addition to the fact that the rod zooms out. So I can choke up on this. I've got a little swell right here. I've got a depression area in the back. And if I'm absolutely stretching as far as I can, I've got a little bit of raise here at the back. So this swells out a little bit to let me know I'm getting close to the end of the handle. I have a laser etched cap on the back side. And this would be how you would take this off to maintain the rod. So here's the cap, and it's cool. It's got like a grain to it. And I love the fact that this is high visibility. This is the last thing that you really want to lose. You always want to take this off and probably put it in the same spot is going to be your best bet. So here's our Lillian. There's the tip. And let's start to expand this rod out. Now once again, I'm going to mention this every time now, we're going to expand these rods from smallest end to biggest end. So I'm just going to slide this out, get out to our full length. Now I've never fished a zoom rod before, so that's kind of a new one to me. So there's a look at the Lillian and that fine tip, and this is just ridiculously small if you haven't seen one of these yet. So here's the zoom feature. So I've got this fully expanded right now, and this is at its 12-foot length. Now this section here is where I get my zoom, and it's got a definite pop to it. And it pops out and gives me quite a bit more stretch. So this obviously is not going to be that flexible a section compared to any of the other Tenkara sections we've looked at, but as far as just having the ability to stretch out and just get to that one extra spot, this zoom feature is pretty awesome. This is like carrying 2 different rods with you. So at 13 feet, this is impressive. I cannot wait to see the areas I can get into with this. With a longer rod, I'm going to be able to get into bigger waters. Now this is a Tenkara rod, in case you're late to the party. So a Tenkara rod is a Japanese style fly fishing. There is no rod seat. There is no rod. There's no guides on this. I'll just go ahead and collapse it all down. and you are not going to see any guides anywhere. And that super thin Lillian that I showed you on the tip, that's what you attach the line to. So this is simplistic, this is lightweight, and it's kind of unique. It's a very cool system, especially when you're trying to travel light. So this rod is 3.6 ounces for a 13-foot rod. Now the length on this is about 21 3/4 inches. So again, this is smaller than most backpacks. So this is going to slide right in, right where you would attach your trekking poles, and you're going to have a lightweight rod that's going to give you a lot of reach if you're getting into bigger waters in the backcountry. So this is the second fly fishing kit that we've looked at from Wild Water Fly Fishing. And when you hear that you're getting a kit from them, you know it's going to be loaded. Let's go ahead and pop this open and take a look at the accessories. One of my favorite parts about Tenkara, besides the simplicity, is the versatility. I've got 3 different fishing lines that are included in the kit. So I can change lines right in the field. I can be fishing one system, encounter a different species, encounter different conditions, walk over to a different section of the water, and change line to adapt to those conditions. We have a chartreuse furled line. Now this is the type of Tenkara line that I am most familiar with. This is like a braid style. This is easy to cast. This is pretty darn versatile. I also have a metal ring on here. So I have a tippet ring to make it easy to attach my length of tippet. So this is non-traditional for Tenkara, but I'm all about catching fish. I'm not really concerned with tradition. This is a PVC floating line. So I've got an 11-foot line here with a tippet ring attached. So I just told you tradition is not really something I'm concerned with. So you know I'm going to love this. This is a hybrid line. So this is a floating PVC line with a furled level line. This is also the longest line in the kit. This is 15 feet and I have a metal ring to attach my tippet. So to help me carry that line, I have a foam spool. Now this style slides right over the end of your Tenkara rod. So it gives you a great, simple, compact package to carry out with you. I've got a spool of 5X tippet. I have a set of nippers with the poker on the backside to clean the eye out of a fly. And then I've got this tool attached to it, and this is going to help me tie a nail knot. To keep me from losing those nippers, I have a zinger. So this is a plastic protective rod topper, and if you're a Tenkara fisherman, you are going to want to pick one of these up anyway. It's nice that it's in the kit. So in the event that you were to lose your cap, which is probably going to happen, you do not want to risk walking out of the woods and having this little tip slide out. It's very likely that this thing just hits and gets sheared right off. So this must be protected. So if you were to lose your cap, something like this would fit in a small little Tenkara bag. And this is universal. This is going to work with any of your Tenkara rods. So I've got foam on top to protect it. And then I've just got a rubber strap to go around it. Now there you go. Now you're protected and you're going to be able to get your rod out of there in one piece. I also have a set of line storage clips. So I've got 2 of these with O-rings to attach it. And that goes on the back section of your rod forward of your grip. And that just acts as a line winder. When you collapse your rod, if you don't want to take your line off, if you're not traveling that far, or you want to be ready to fish at a moment's notice, you can collapse your rod and just wrap your line around the rod holder. I'm going to show you how to install these in a separate video. Besides the traditional fly rods and the Tenkara rods and the lines and all the accessories, Wild Water Fly Fishing has a lot of flies as well and fly tying stuff. So you knew you were going to be getting a fly box with this. So this is a hard plastic box. You can see their logo on here. And then this is loaded up with Kabara flies. So this is a Japanese style fly. So this is the style Kabara I am most used to. So this is a soft hackle fly, Japanese style with the hackles facing forward. But I've got a pretty good selection here. I've got orange indicator Kabaris. I've got backward facing hackles. I've got midpoint hackles. So there's a lot of styles on here that I have not used before. It's going to be a lot of fun to get out there and try them. So I would select this rod over other rods that I have just because of this reach. This is going to get me into a little bit bigger water, but it's still going to be sized appropriately for smaller bass or for trout or for panfish. This size and weight still does not exclude this for backpacking. this is definitely something I'm going to have with me. Till next time, this has been Jamie Boggs with Burning River Bushcraft. See you soon.